Hi there, my name is Amber Hernandez and I will be doing part 2 of my sheep brain dissection video. So, at this time, here's my brain, my gloves, my mask, and we're ready to go. So, this here, the entire thing here is called the cerebrum or cerebral cortex. So the cerebrum consists of the frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and behind here is the occipital lobe. So starting with our frontal lobe, it controls emotion regulation, movement, and executive functions such as planning, decision making, and problem solving. Behind the frontal lobe is the parietal lobe. The parietal lobe helps with our sense of touch, fine motor movements, and visual spatial processing, which allows us to move around without bumping into things. On the side here, we have our temporal lobe. That's used for our hearing and speech. Okay. On the occipital lobe here, it's kind of hidden behind the cerebellum here. So the occipital lobe is used for visual processing, also the main center for our vision. Moving on to the cerebellum. So the cerebellum here, which is covering the occipital lobe, is also called the little brain. So the cerebellum is used for things like balance and coordination. This thing sticking out here is called the spinal cord. Okay? So the spinal cord and the brain together consist of the main central nervous system. So what the spinal cord does, it carries nerve signals throughout the body, such as reflexes, motor commands, and sensory information. So again, this is the spinal cord. If you look up close, is the hills right here, if you notice, those are called the gyri. In between these little black indentions are called the sulci, or the valleys. So these little things here. So with the sulci and the gyri, helps to increase the surface area of the cerebral cortex. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and slice the brain open. So kind of just put that there. So I'm going to start cutting it. So I'm cutting it in between the left and right hemispheres into the cerebellum and out to the spinal cord. All right. So as you can see here, this is what it looks like on the inside. That's what it looks like cut in half. So I will be demonstrating just one side just to make it a little easier. So, starting with the medulla oblongata. So, the medulla oblongata is right above the spinal cord here. Okay, so the medulla oblongata helps to regulate our breathing, blood pressure, and heartbeat. So without this, if this goes wrong, then we're dead. Above the medulla oblongata is the pons. So the pons relays information between the cerebellum along with other parts of the brain and spinal cord. And it's also used to regulate our sleep-wake cycles. Going towards the front here, actually I think you can see it on the other one better. Yeah. So this little thing kind of sticking out here. Oh, here we go. So that little thing right there to the front of the brain by the frontal lobe is the olfactory bulb. So the olfactory bulb is used to help us relay and process our sense of smell. Okay? So, going inside of the cerebellum here, you can see the white shade and then the gray around it. So as you can see, it's almost like roots growing out of it. They also call it tree of life because it's like, you know, roots growing under a tree. So the darker shade is called gray matter. So the gray matter consists of our cell bodies here. In the middle here, where it extends outward, is called the white matter. And the white matter is used as, or composed as, our nerve fibers. So, looking more inward to the brain, this little circle here is called the thalamus. So the thalamus here is in the center. It plays a role in memory, relays sensory information to the cerebral cortex, and as you can see, it's below the corpus callosum, right here, which I'll also get to. So the hypothalamus is kind of below, so let's see, where is it? Kind of like right here. So that's the thalamus, this is the hypothalamus here. So the hypothalamus regulates our sleep, hunger, mood, and body temperature. Okay, so that's the hypothalamus. And then pineal gland is very tiny, but it's a little, I think it's, yeah, it's above the thalamus. It's very tiny. So the pineal gland here, it's like kind of pea-sized right here. So the pineal gland produces and releases melatonin. So that's the thing that helps us sleep. It also regulates our circadian rhythm, again, our sleep-wake cycle. So this right here, again, is the pineal gland. All right. Now, going back, this is the corpus callosum. It's kind of like a C shape here. Here, let me see if I can. Here you can see it better on this other side. So the corpus callosum here, it's basically a bundle of nerve fibers that connect both the left and the right hemisphere. So there it is here. And last but not least are the ventricles. So the ventricles here is going to be located within this corpus callosum, and it's this little pocket thing right here. That is our ventricles. So in total we have 4. This is one of them. Okay? So the ventricles are filled with cerebral spinal fluid. Super important. So again, here is the inside of the brain. And then again, this is the outside. All right. So that is the end of my dissection video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.